The path of insanity. I am that I am. Ehyei asher ehyei. The world which is described from observation is a manifestation of the mental activity of the observer. When man discovers that his world is his own mental activity made visible, that no man can come unto him except he draws him, and that there is no one to change but himself, his own imaginative self, his first impulse is to reshape the world in the image of his ideal. But his ideal is not so easily incarnated. At the moment when he ceases to conform to external discipline, he must impose upon himself a far from more rigorous discipline, the self-discipline upon which the realization of his ideals depends. Neville Goddard, Awakened Imagination. What lies in the consciousness? A new stream, another current, a novel path, a different journey, a diverse perception, an innovative way of thinking. But is it new? Or is it consolidating, refining, restructuring? Some new ideas emerge or new ways of implementing them not traveled before. How about another point of view? It is so interesting to know for a fact that what I have learned thus far is something that I have tried, experienced, and assimilated, and that I can change my mind as many times as I want once I verify what is correct for my design. Now, do you want to master it and to know it? This is the great experiment of life. The ways that made me evolve in the last few years: deep listening, asking questions. I never stopped questioning the narrative. Looking at how I related to those thoughts that I once believed were what defined me, finding out that they were just thoughts. I practiced them so religiously that I enacted them as true. On May 16, 2019, when Uranus met Venus and first touched my Jupiter at 3 degrees Taurus, where the north node of the moon and Jupiter are meeting on June 1st, 2023, that is today, my floor shook. I felt that if I resisted the strength of the wind, it would break everything inside that held me together, my own reality. So I surrendered, not without a fight. Look at your journals. What was happening around May 16, 2019? Saturn was in Capricorn between the South Node and Pluto. Little did we know that what was coming the 9 months later. This is important because it was the summer before the lockdown, and somehow our memory has been probably fading as so many insane events are still unfolding. In my case, because Uranus' disruptive nature in Taurus, my ground was being shaken and my belief systems that defined me for a long time started to be uprooted. I was deciding to sell all my storage, give up my New York City artist studio, and leave only what I needed and I could pack in 2 days. I could feel the waves of change. I had a sense I had to follow, and so I did. Now I find myself on another completely exciting journey. 4 years later, almost to the date, 1/3 of Jupiter's journey around this cycle. 2 cycles have ended, one that started in May 2004 when the North Node met Jupiter at 11 degrees Taurus, and another one not so minor when Jupiter was in the same degree that is today at the end of 2011. Degrees in the zodiac carry a frequency that holds memory with information that becomes relevant at different times. I can say that the routes I have traveled make sense in retrospect. Jupiter is also looking for meaning. It expands horizons, looking to implement ideas. Now, beware of Taurus energy, my friends. As stable as it is, it carries an energy of stubbornness. Are you the same person you thought you were back in 2019 and the persona you are now? Do they resemble, look alike, or have they been radically transformed? We all have the Jupiter somewhere in our chart, and that is what has potentially to be transformed as Pluto squares it along with the nodes. The reflection is about ways of thinking, ideologies, social constructs, belief systems, propaganda, information, data, and experience. The innovative part of the journey is what I want you to look for. Finding the courage to be unique and embracing your singularity will support the losses and closed structures that are in decay. The journey can be and will be grounded in innovative ways when Jupiter conjuncts Uranus next April 20th, 2024. The choices you have already made by letting go of addictive behavior will celebrate a new relationship to the leverage you now have within all kinds of relationships. On February 21st of 2024, when Venus and Mars, the rulers of the nodes, will join Pluto in Aquarius. The North Node in Aries and Chiron will too have a meetup. Also, look at what is closing, dissolving, as Saturn spends time in Pisces supporting this venture, allowing the stagnation and decay to evaporate and to mourn, while also supporting what is emerging. Some journeys are very well known, journeys that have been recorded and told as fables stories. These heroes and heroines incorporated confrontations, hallucinations, battles, and moments of insight. They all went through a path of seeking and painful experiences. These memories or scars defined our lives, allowing each moment to be lived in truth. There was no holding to ideas so fiercely, for what these heroes found was either death in a Valhalla, the battle, all fundamentalists carrying blood in their hands, or imprisoned inside their heads with absolute isms. Deep inside, we all know and sense that we are one. It is not just a religious or woo-woo thing. It is the truth about what spirit knows. We are all particles of dust from dead stars that have been shattered at the beginning, and while we carry the idea of singularity in the Maya, we still fight fiercely in the duality of the light and the shadow, perceiving our uniqueness as independent beings, and like lunatics, we fight the dark side aimlessly. Well, all we can do is embrace the light and integrate what is triggering the discomfort. But in truth, that is only a lens, an opportunity so gracefully that we can lead to one or many revolutions. Life on earth is a lease, a contract with spirit, as we wake up from the nightmare of duality that keeps painfully separating our bodies by nominating and dissecting genders, ideologies, and disguising the fear behind masks and personas that are purely mental constructs. Like in ancient Greece, where you could be shamed and stoned to death, all these static belief systems arrive as cancel culture. The fear is real, not mine. You can cancel me all you like, but I cannot and I will not abide by your conditions. When one knows and surrenders to its design, there is only flow. Bruce Lee quote here, placeholder, be water, my friends. The more labeling, the more separation, the more suffering, and the more loss of hope. The stream is the journey. The wind helps the sails, and the knowledge of the stars finally orient ourselves correctly to the position our crystal has from the very beginning of times. This holographic image of the whole universe, that you and I are the fractals that mirrors all of all that is at all times. Opportunity. Definition: fit, convenient, suitable, favorable, from the phrase ob portum venens, coming towards a port, in reference to the wind from ob, in front of, toward, portus, harbor. Luck versus decision making. I don't believe in luck, but in making the right decisions. Opportunities abound, but are we choosing what is correct for our singularity? By the way, to the curious mind, human design is the practice to understand, to know your design so you can make the right decisions based on your authority and type. I have been facilitating study groups in the last year or so. They differ from workshops. It makes me feel I don't have to carry the weight of the group. Instead, leading by example, I have my Venus in gate 45.5. I encourage everyone to create a relationship with their individual sense of values and provide support to the tribe with educational resources. Jupiter, as the teacher, can be projected as the guru and also as the disciple who is willing to be humble and learn from the lineage of ancestry. I, myself, with all the 6 lines in my design, take no control nor responsibility over anyone's decisions. If you're looking for a guide and guru, I would like you to unfollow me. Despite my only 2 fifth lines, I have 45.5 Venus and 63.5 in my design. They're projected outwardly, and I have no necessity of confirmation by the masses. My second lines need my hermit hut in the hope to come out of it from time to time and share whatever crosses my imagination. Is it correct for your design, your uniqueness, to follow the path you're taking? Can I mirror and bring out the alignment needed with care? And for that, I appreciate our relationship. I feel I can give all of my talents and resources to the group as I am to learn, accept, and feel supported by others too. I have to say, has expanded my vision like Jupiter expands opportunities. Also, with my Jupiter's fifth and second Saturn return this year, I accept what I don't know about my limitations and project myself to refine them joyously. The scope is the journey of mutual discovery, the pilgrimage, the opportunity, and empirical practice. Are you a rebel with a cause? A soldier awaiting orders? A sovereign individual that knows their worth? Who are you? What ideologies are defining and limiting you? There is still a road ahead, and boy, am I excited. Are you? Is your Jupiter an optimist or a pessimist? You know mine. Cheers, compañeros de viaje, my journey companions. When life itself seems lunatic, who knows where madness lies? Perhaps to be too practical is madness. To surrender dreams, this may be madness. Too much sanity may be madness. And maddest of all, to see life as it is and not as it should be. I, Don Quixote, a play written for television by Dale Wasserman and acted by Peter O'Toole in 1971. A play about a man who wrote a novel about a man who read so much about his heroes that decided to go on a pilgrimage himself to become the anti-hero of his stories. It is in the journey to seek the truth that we underline the importance of that imagination. The esoteric journey of Don Quixote de la Mancha. A strike of intuition moved me the other day to look into Don Quixote de la Mancha and to link it as a metaphor for the current Jovian energies and the path of individuation. I had read it in high school. In a Spanish-speaking country, it is a must, part of the curriculum, as it was Garcia Marquez' 100 Years of Solitude, Cien Años de Soledad. All I remember is its satire, the relationship between a fool and his sidekick, traveling the fields of a stained line. La Mancha. Was Cervantes a pig, a Jew? Was his family converted during the Inquisition? Was he motivated to find his purpose and meaning practically? Perhaps. I was not too enamored by the epoch in which it was written. Too much colonization for my taste and too much religious conversion by one of the bloodiest empires. Well, maybe not anymore, as empires now conquer our minds through propaganda. I, however, went looking for the hermetic esoteric meaning of this major opera that defined the language of my ancestors in the old continent. Who is Alonso Quijano? What are his views really? And why does he go under the name of Don Quixote? A nickname he invents perhaps after falling into insanity, becoming so obsessed with his chivalry to the point of starting his own voyage. But for me, this is the key. In his insanity, there is hope, and the hope of finding the hero within. However, Sancho, his squire, adds another nickname, the Knight of Sorrowful Countenance, explaining Don Quixote is the worst-looking man he has ever seen, thin from hunger and missing most of his teeth. Sexy. In looking for the hidden, unwritten, and hermetic meaning, I found some confirmations of why I chose him and the book for this article, or rather, why he chose me. Feel free to investigate. After all, one can make up another piece based on written gibberish inspired by a tall lunatic chevalier. The bottom line for me is that if I don't try the fool's way, I will never know. So my certainty is the freedom I conquer when I embark on my path of uniqueness, despite the fact that I may be called a lunatic. The path of individuation of Don Quixote is a yielding feminine embrace of the right side of the brain. By traveling physically around the fields of La Mancha, he applies the young quality. The experience itself is the synthesis and is the experience of each one of our lives. Are we witnessing similar waves, where expressing our views can land us in dangerous zones? Can we follow an individual path in peace? Who benefits from following the herd? Cada loco con su tema is a phrase I use all the time, which means to each their own. but literally translates to something like each fool has his own theme. In the prologue to his novelas ejemplares, Cervantes admits to having incorporated some hidden mystery that redeems the stories. The intention of the works would only be revealed after carefully reading. If you look at them well, there's none from which you can't take out a beneficial effect. Professor Rosa Maria Stoops states that the plot of each of these stories illustrates a different aspect of the alchemical process with reference to sacred geometry. Dominique Aubière already suggested in 1966 that the word Quixote means truth or certainty in Aramaic. She also added that Quijano, the character's original name, is an anagram for Anoki, the Hebrew first person pronoun, which would suggest Cervantes' identification with his immortal character. It is in the ambiguity in Don Quixote's madness that continues to inspire interpretations of the occult truth, supposedly hidden in the novel. Don Quixote's madness is similar to that of a visionary or a mystic. We may believe he's an initiate, someone who is able to see through the veil of Isis. He reflects upon reality of numerous occasions. There is always a swarm of enchanters in attendance upon us that change and alter everything with us and turn things as they please, according as they are disposed to aid or destroy us. Thus, what seems to thee a barber's basin seems to me a mambrino's helmet. The Secrets of Don Quixote, published in July 13, 2016, first published in the Fortune Times, Maria Jose Cuervo. Deciphering and meaning. I have to admit I love decoding along the way of artists, musicians, and poets that connected their essence to the source. The clues are always hidden, for the path is one, and each one has to pursue it. Find the pearls by themselves, with no spoilers, no shortcuts. Sorry. I can scroll down or right on social media and confirm the insanity of what is being witnessed. I can decide to pick up a bag, call my sidekick, and jump on a horse and start the enterprise of changing the perspective. One thing is for sure, I won't mimic anyone else's path, nor I do wish to follow anyone's steps. Like Don Quixote, I will use my imagination and make believe my sentiments to the point of making them happen. Mind you, that is what I did when I moved to the United States and I started making art, and I became an artist, embracing it as if it is already a done deal. Imagination has a dual reputation. For certain things, it's great. For others, when the consensus wants to diminish your bravery, you are coined as an imaginative fool. Who cares? We are all fools. I can't follow friends or trends. My lunatic enterprise these days is about not repeating the same bad habit twice, changing gears in the little things. I spend so much time refining practices that when I notice what I'm doing, I make an effort to move. Now, I must live and show up to verify that the knowledge is in the journey, not in the looking for something. Further down, a clip from the brilliant Eric Weinstein. The difference between right and left brain cognitive functions. The loop is the logical left side of the brain parameter that searches for innovation and wants to build the future in machines, and the abstract circuit of our design that looks at the past, looking for answers, and the patterns that find are not verifiable with ones and zeros. They are connected via metaphors, anecdotes, and fables. The scope: observe, apply, and synthesize. Move, initiate. Movement leads to innovation and resolves around not holding on to decay. I'm aware of where I put my energy on a day-to-day. I choose the frequency carefully. I surrender to the journey, and lunatic or not, I live my path in different perspectives. That is how I, Monica, do it. How about you? Full moon in Sagittarius on June the 3rd. The sun is in gate 35, the earth in gate 5. The rhythm can be found within the journey. Neptune still in gate 36. The possibility to master a crisis by maintaining a correct attitude makes the channel 35-36, the adventurer, a defined solar plexus. Mastering emotional experiences. Feel the experience. Drawn by seeking new experiences at all costs to master the waves that the life brings, a collective sensing channel is eager to share these trials and errors and let go of expectations as the journey is the destination. The result lies in the capacity to trust the wave until time renders clarity and shows when and where to turn once one reaches a fork in the road. This leads to progress, as all parts are far from decaying in stagnant postures. Be hungry for your life, filled with adventures that will bring a bounty of expertise, while the rhythm of time aligns with the magnetism of this abundant life experience. Will you be my Sancho, my companion in my imagination? Yes, I will. Imagination is nothing more than sensory states. Learn to go beyond an idea by feeling its reality. The truth depends upon the intensity of imagination, not upon facts. Neville Goddard. Be what you wish. Page 23. AI. Attention is all you need. White paper. The abstract. The dominant sequence transaction models are based on complex recurrent or convolutional neural networks that include an encoder and a decoder. The best performing models also connect the encoder and decoder through an attention mechanism. We propose a new simple network architecture, the transformer, based solely on attention mechanism, dispensing with recurrence and convolutions entirely. Experiments on two machine translation tasks show these models to be superior in equality while being more parallelizable and requiring significantly less to train. Attention is all you need. The white paper is a link there, and a list of people who contribute. They're all part of like Google Research, Google Brain, and the University of Toronto 2017. The paper is referenced below in a link that I just left on YouTube. During the recent Bitcoin 23 conference, which I attended, this panel held between Robert Breedlove and Eric Weinstein caught my attention. By the way, the whole 20 minutes is a joy, full of discoveries for the curious mind. Eric is a mathematician and wanted to disrupt the environment with ideas out of the box. In sum, Mercury, ruler of the sun in Gemini, meets Uranus. It will be looking for innovative technical data, and Jupiter, ruling the full moon in Sagittarius, will make sure to empirically test it and have a different view. Neptune, still in Pisces, surrenders to the experience by resonating with what lies beyond the Uranian Aquarian innovative mind. Pluto, the south node, still in Scorpio, confronts and reveals what hides underneath that needs to be expressed and validated in a unique way, with Mars leading our creative juices in Leo. Jupiter's current journey can be also felt like a change of heart, a metanoia, which means beyond nous, where the essence, the intuitive insight, the ability to make intelligent decisions, especially in everyday matters, embraces a correction in the path. Metanoia in psychology is a breakdown. In rhetoric is a correction. In theology is a reformation. For me, it's an opportunity to keep traveling down the stream of life, aligned with the source. Leaving you two images that talk about the North Node in Jupiter that is meeting at 3 degrees of Taurus. Promise of abundance. The fruits that come from the bridging between the earth plane and the comics realms, being profoundly touched by beauty and imagination. In learning how to conduct ourselves appropriately, we are creating a bridge between heaven and earth. Communing with cosmic forces to achieve worldly abundance. This enjoyment of wealth comes only from an ability to have fair commerce with others, to inspire trust and deal with the trustworthy is implied. Yet, so too is the remembering in all the world interactions of our spiritual heritage. This was written by Dan Budger, The Pot of the Gold at the End of the Rainbow. Also, in human design, both of them are meeting at gate 27 too. If one doesn't nurture one's needs first, one cannot generate anything for others. Depletion may occur when one projects an outside responsibility to care for others people's needs instead of creating an inner line too. Relationship and tending to one's own resources. The gate 27 is a generator gate. If or when hanging, the juice is quite limited. Be cautious of wasting is imperative, and knowing if caring is the call for action. Maybe it is not. So, have a great week, all of you. Go and find your journey.